Poppy just released a new album, and some of you are probably wondering who is Poppy. Well, she's a big name, a YouTuber and a musician, and she started doing performance art videos talking about pop culture, and her videos went viral. She's also a musician and a singer, and she signed a recording contract with Island Records. So she released her debut EP in 2016 called Bubble Bath. And in 2017, she released her debut studio album called Poppy Computer. Now, you're probably wondering, why is a channel called JC Rock and Metal Reviews reviewing an album by a YouTuber pop star? Well, she has been changing her sound to more of a metal and industrial sound. So last year, she released more of like a metal album. She released an EP earlier this year, and this is probably one of the most anticipated albums of the year. So I'm just going to go through all the songs. The album opens up with Flux. This is the title track. Starts off with some computerized sounds, followed by some distorted guitars. There's like a heavy, grungy riff. It has a guitar tone. It reminds me of like something from like the first Nirvana album, from like the Bleach album. Lots of electronic sounds throughout the song. She sings in like a soft pop vocal style in the beginning. Reminds me a lot of like Avril Lavigne. But she does give some like distorted screams towards the end of the song. Use of electronic sounds also reminds me of like 9 Inch Nails at times. Track number 2 is called Lessen the Damage. This one reminds me a lot of Nirvana again, or even the band Hole. The opening guitar riff reminds me of, it has that like almost like a grunge or like a punk rock riff. Now the song relies less on the electronic and more on the guitars, bass, and drums. On this style, on the song, her vocal style reminds me of like Gwen Stefani, kind of singing in a mixture of like industrial music and grunge. It's a short song, 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Track number 3 is called So Mean, and on this song, she kind of changes her sound a little. It's kind of like straightforward, like 2000s pop punk. It has like a slight grunge feel and reminds me a lot of the band like No Doubt. So there are some cool grungy guitar feels throughout, but this is kind of stylized as a pop punk song. The song also has some like electronic and industrial metal elements throughout the song. Track 4 is called On the Level, and the song mixes electronic guitar sounds and some softer pop singing. This one has some guitar riffs and like a grungy guitar tone. It's a slower ballad, but reminds me like of that band, The Breeders from the 90s. There are a few like surprises towards the end of the song, and she does kind of like get like really like heavy, some like really heavy parts. Track 5 is called Hysteria. It's a laid-back song with like a steady beat and bass line. She sings in her softer pop style, and it does have like this like chugging guitar riff and some clean guitar feels. Kind of creates like this atmosphere. The song has more of like an indie rock or like a noise rock feel. Lots of like layers of sound. Track number 6 is called Her, and this one brings back that like industrial metal and grunge sound. And this one also has like distorted guitars, some like electronic sounds, and those creates like some textures. This one also reminds me of the band The Breeders. The song is filled with distortion. She has like a soft vocal style throughout the song, and there are some like of her screams buried like lower in the mix. Track 7 is called Bloom, and this one has this like stop-start like alternative metal riff that kind of like alternates with like the riff and like her singing. The song is a mid-paced rocker, has a nice drum beat, and the guitar riff reminds me a lot of like Stone Temple Pilots in the intro. The second part of the song is a lot softer, it goes into like a marching band drum beat, and the song alternates between like heavy riffing and like soft singing. Track 8 is called As Strange As It Seems. This one starts off with like a lot of feedback and riffing and the soft singing, some atmospheric keyboards. So in this song, she moves towards more of that like spacey synth pop. Her vocals are very light on the song, but you do hear like lots of like distortion like buried in the background. And track number 9 is Never Find My Place. So it's another quiet, relaxed synth pop song. Her singing is very like light and airy on this one. The song has a really nice drum beat. The song starts to pick up the pace as it moves along. There's some guitars come into the mix. The song eventually gets faster. There's some cool like alternative rock riffs being played. You do hear some of her screams like towards the end of the song, but they're all kind of like buried in the mix. And the song ends with some atmospheric singing and keyboards. So in conclusion, Poppy's an artist that's constantly like reinventing herself, and the title of the album is called Flux, and you know it's kind of like a flux of different genres, but mostly it captures like that 90s sound. So this album really sounds kind of like an electronic version of like 90s music. I hear a lot of influence from bands like Hole and The Breeders, and her vocal style changes from like soft, clean singing to like distorted screams. Thought it was a very good album. I will give it an 8 out of 10. If you like 90s rock, you'd probably like this album. And for those of you interested in buying this on CD or vinyl, you can buy it on the Sumerian Records website. But I do think the vinyl record is not available until November. So that's it. Thanks for watching. There will be many new releases this weekend. I don't really have a lot of time. So I'm thinking the next two ones I will be doing will be Rivers of Nile and Tremonti. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll put some videos over here so you can check out my other ones. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.